You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live from Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Thursday, April 24th. Good morning, Emil.
Hey, good morning, man.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. A lot of stuff happening around the old play below. A lot of stuff to get to. But our top story today is I woke up today to surprising news, a statement from Borderlands Brewing.
Saw the little thing on the screen here.
Yeah,
it's
so
kind of a bummer.
Here is the statement that was released by Borderlands Brewing. A hard day for Borderlands. This is one of the hardest messages we've ever had to write. After more than a decade of serving Tucson with heart, with pride, and with an unwavering belief in our city, we've learned that our home at 119 East Toole Avenue will be turned over to a national comedy chain backed by Live Nation. Right? While we recognize the work that Rio Nuevo and Peach Properties have done to support downtown, this decision was made without a chance for us to collaborate or even be part of the conversation. It has left us saddened and searching for answers. This space was never just a bar. It was a place where we built something that mattered, a place that has provided meaningful employment to hundreds of Tucsonans over the years, many underrepresented communities, a place that has been featured in the New York Times, Time Magazine, and on national TV because of what it stood for: community, culture, Tucson. We have been a proud part of downtown for years, and today we feel misplaced, overlooked, and deeply sad. We do not have any updates right now, just with a heavy heart and so much gratitude for everyone who has supported us on this journey. Thank you for being a part of it. With love and respect, all of us at Borderlands Brewing.
Oh.
Hard, right?
Heavy, man, heavy.
Now, I've heard speculation and rumors that, Live Nation is going to do some construction there for a music venue. I didn't hear anything about a comedy venue. This is kind of the first time I'm thinking that I've heard Live Nation involved in comedy, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if they're doing tickets and stuff.
100%, yeah. Right? And the Live Nation machine keeps on rolling. And there's nothing really I could say too much on that. We do a lot of, trade out, like a lot of shows that we promote are Live Nation shows.
Right.
But that's the industry as a whole. It's either you're Live Nation or you're not working, right? Mm-hmm. And this situation for Borderlands Brewing, of course, heartbreaking. And you think to yourself, like, come on, man, there's plenty of locations downtown that are squalors. I mean, right. Borderlands Brewing is a beautiful property with a beautiful patio. We've done many events there with like Tucson Foodie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's just a great restaurant, and it is part of the community, and it made downtown nicer, made that strip of Toole nicer. Now, I'm sure another building in there that's like a multi-million-dollar building, sure, is going to be nice, but there are places around downtown that do not have nice buildings, do not have nice businesses and profitable businesses. Use that.
Yeah.
Right?
So they just sit there.
Yeah. So the fact that they took this property and want to do a comedy club right there and not even have the foresight to realize that it's right next to the train track. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, imagine having your punchline, ruined because of the train horn going by, because those things are loud.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before. I mean, 191 Toole, it is literally right next to the train track. And I've
you
seen
hear
sets, stop because there's like every 15 minutes.
Yeah, you could hear the trains, dude. So it doesn't make sense. It didn't seem like it was a great move for them just on a business aspect. Like, let me advocate for Live Nation. Be like, hey, Live Nation, guys. Hey, guys. I mean, yeah, that's cool. You want to take over the world one piece at a time. That's good. Why don't you move next door? Or why don't you move down the block? Or, there's a lot of areas downtown health. Instead of thinking 191 Toole or just Toole Avenue, mm-hmm. like go alongside Broadway.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many places that need that kind of business and buildings that are completely abandoned, that aren't thriving.
You can say that about all over Tucson too. And it's crazy that they always like to pick like specific little areas. And I get it. They're like kind of like an artery in a sense where it's just mass traffic. But you know what? You could put this place somewhere else, and you're going to get the people going there too, and you liven up a whole different side of town, even if it's downtown too.
Yeah. Well, I destroy one good thing just to replace it with another.
Exactly. That might not be so great.
Right. Because the math ain't math, and you're still going to end up with just one good thing. Yeah. So instead of like just putting it somewhere else, now you have two good things. You see how that works?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and build an economy like that. But I do feel for them because they were completely left out of the conversation. This was a city decision backed by a corporate decision. And, you know, the city signed off on it. And the city, you know, like we live in a city that is very much like a town, which it has like old politics. So the people that run the city is just kind of old timers, right? It's very much like the old guard, and they're making the decisions based off of them and not the community, it seems like. So that's where we stand today. It's bad news to open up with. And obviously, the story is still developing. Things can change. And there's comments on social media as KOD's reported it. Of course, Borderlands posted this. And then there's some people saying, well, a comedy club would be good. Yeah, a comedy club will be good. You know, beyond the laughs. You know, a comedy club with like major comedians coming to Tucson, I'm all about, right? Absolutely. Because, you know, we can't book that many comedians at the Fox Theater because maybe they're, you know, owned by Live Nation. Whatever the case may be, if that's what it takes to get these shows in town, that's cool. Let's boost our economy and give us more entertainment options, but you don't have to destroy something that was built from the ground up with love that, you know, a lot of people appreciate.
It doesn't really take much to make a comedy club either. I mean, you've been in plenty. I've been in plenty. It's literally just a room, and those are the best ones too. It's just like a kind of like the simplistic styling of like a room, and you have like maybe a little bar,
right?
Yeah, and that's all you really need.
That's it, and overpriced cheese sticks, and so boom, and you're in business. Very interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll reach out to some Borderlands. We have some friends that work there. Get an official statement from them. Yeah. Maybe talk with them later on in the show today or tomorrow. But yeah, sad news here for the community. All right, yeah. Mario wants to hear the tea. We got lots of tea. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you on the stream. And I bumped into Brooklyn in the hallway, right? And Brooklyn, who always appears on the Frank show, but I've known Brooklyn for years as well. And he goes, "Hey, congratulations! I saw that you expanded the show. You were in Phoenix as well." And then I was like, "Cool." I thought he saw it online. He's like, "No, I get the Arizona Republic. I saw it. You're on the front page." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude." I told my mom because it was the Sunday. It was the Sunday edition, right? That's a big deal, right? But the people who still do read the newspaper, like the actual
Sunday paper is the big one.
The big one, right? Yes. And so I told my mom, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the paper. I'm pretty sure this is like a paper piece, and they're releasing it on Sunday, so it's gonna be in the Sunday edition, and it's a big write-up that Ed Masley did." So I asked my mom, who lives up there, "Hey, pick up an Arizona Republic," right? And so she did, and she's like, "You're not in here. You're not in there." Yeah. So she got it, and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I'm on the front page, Mom." I'm like, no, and not the front page, but the front of the culture section, right? But the front page of the section. And, Brooklyn described it beautifully. Big picture, everything that you saw online, but blown up and like the beef comes home or some stupid headline or something. I'm sure it's a better headline than what Brooklyn recounted it as. But I'm like, Ma, the irony of this, though, because I was just like, it would be interesting if I was in the Sunday paper because I know someone in particular that reads the paper every single day. And this day, and this is what's weird about this day just happens to land on my ex's birthday. Right. And this person that reads the paper is my ex's dad. Right. So I know that I was just like, I wonder if there's a scenario if, they're just reading the Sunday paper and then, then the Don's like, "Sheila, look at this son of a bitch on the cover of the newspaper." And that's exactly what happened. But then I was just like thinking, it didn't happen. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Just digital. That's cool. Yeah. Whatever. But then I'm like, no, now it did happen. I'm like, that's even cooler. That's funny. Nice.
How did your mom miss it though?
I don't know, man. That's my mom, dude.
It?
She probably got some kind of she probably got the Saturday paper and didn't even realize it. I don't know
what day it is.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask her about it. She probably already threw away the paper. I'm like, "God damn, Mom, this is an opportunity. You can frame a front page article about your son."
Refrigerator picture time. You know what I'm saying?
Something, yeah. I mean, frame it. It's a good frame deal. And then I asked Brooklyn, I'm like, "You have a copy of that? Because I'll frame it." And he's like, "Nah, I threw it away." Like, all right, son of a
Well.
bitch. Yeah. All right, but yeah, so was on the front page, and thank you, Ed Mansley. We've been doing the KWSS thing, and now it's going on 2 weeks, something like that. It's been going well. Been getting a lot of messages, and Anthony, our OG streamer Anthony, even listened to the afternoon show, gave some messages and stuff, so he was enjoying it, asking about some artists, because there's gonna be a lot of artists that on that station that you're gonna be like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Right.
And like, oh, I dig this, but who is this? Never heard this before. So. Yeah, and I've been burning the candle at both ends. So I've been doing the morning show, and I record some stuff here in the morning, and then go home, reset, and then come back here in the afternoon.
I learned that Tuesday. I'm
Mhm.
surprised.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple reasons why I do this. One, like I don't really have anything else going on in my life. So
Might as well just work a little bit.
Right. Well, two, I love this passionately, right? So this is like my fun. So it's either like sit at home and like, I don't know, like a Facebook date and like smoke weed, jerk off, play a video game,
Yeah.
watch some
Okay.
more stuff on Netflix.
Big question though.
Okay.
When GTA 6 comes out,
I
can
know.
you swing it?
I'm retiring.
Okay.
That's
It's been a good run, everybody.
that's a future problem, yes, that is a future problem that I'm definitely going to address. I'm probably going to work harder in the morning. I'm going to take some days off. I might go on vacation during that time, with KWSS. Luckily, since it is volunteer based, I could take whatever days off, but consistency is key to build an audience. Todd knows this, and he said the best thing about KWSS being able to play whatever song you feel like at the time. And that's
That's so nice.
Todd introduced me to Macklemore before Macklemore blew
Right.
up while we were on the show, being that person, be able to do that. And this week, a couple times I played an artist, Andrew Duncan Brown, because I got an email about a woman. Like after my first week, I got an email on Saturday, right after the Roadrunners game, to my KFMA email, nonetheless. Say, hey, I used to listen to you all the time in Phoenix. There was an artist that you played that died at the age of 27, and I picked up his CD at a fundraiser, but I lost the CD and I'm old and I forgot his name. Would you happen to know who it is? And I'm like, you talking about Andrew Duncan Brown? And she's like, yes. And I love this kid. And so I mentioned that on the air. I played his song, and then I did it again yesterday. And every time because I'm trying to bring back the memory, I'll even play the song for you for a little bit. Yeah, because you'll dig the sound of Andrew Duncan Brown. All right, let's get on the air for a quick tease, because I got to show this Florida Man video you guys are going to get a kick out of. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're live on the podcast broadcast. Only there are you going to see this viral video of a Florida man that might as well have inspired our theme song for Florida Man.
Right.
Like there was a different Florida man that captured an alligator in a trash can. Well, this happens a lot, apparently. It's like the go-to move. So we're going to show that video while playing our Florida Man theme over it here on the podcast broadcast. But when we return, this is a very relatable story for me because, within the past couple of years, I've actually gotten it on in my car more than I should have. And that's not because of doing anything nefarious. It's literally dating other women who have teenagers living at home as well.
You got nowhere else to do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. And so there's a situation where there's a couple getting it on, and they have a spot where they get it on inside the car. And this spot is threatening to post video of them if they don't stop. I'm going to break down that story for you right after Wage Wars Blur. New music here on Rock 102.1. You can join us on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. All right. So, yes, let me show this Florida Man video first because this is epically awesome. And I'm going to just have to play the Florida Man theme, which I'll do right now. Because if you listen to the lyrics, it's catch an alligator in a trash can, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so he... Look at that wicked alligator, too.
Yeah.
Come on now, Florida Man. Got him in the trash can.
Yeah. It's
Is that recycling?
art mimics life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you do with them after though?
Hang on.
You put him on the curb for someone else to pick up.
Become
She's like, hell yeah, I'm going to
best
eat some
friends with
gator.
I feel like this is like a rite of passage for a lot of Floridians. So,
Yeah. Since I talk about Florida Man so much, it's in my algorithm. So I see Florida stories and reels pop up.
Yeah.
And I saw this reel of woman like top 10 cricks, or my gator rating for cricks in the Florida area. Creeks.
What's a crick?
Creeks. Yeah. So, basically this reel, just like you would do like a foodie reel or anything like that, she was showing these beautiful swimming creeks, rivers that they have in Florida. Made me very envious. I mean, like, man, that's a beautiful environment.
Right.
But then she also rated it on how likely you are to see a gator in these natural swimming spots. And there's some spots that are 0 out of 10, some are 8 out of 10. And the water looked crystal clear, looks beautiful, tropical. You're like, damn, I understand why a lot of people at a time did move down to Florida. A lot of people are moving out of Florida right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Due to same issues everywhere, housing costs and
It's
stuff.
going up in price.
Yeah. And then lack of whatever, like income and the economy.
But do you think the gators are like, I don't know, desert creatures? Like they only bug you if you bug them?
No, they'll eat you.
Yeah, they'll eat you. There's ways.
Like
Yeah.
unprovoked or like?
Yeah, they'll get you, man.
Honestly, I'm kind of on this wavelength that you are here, because when she's talking about these like creeks and people swimming, like a lot of times they're kind of be skittish, right?
Yeah.
Like rattlesnakes. People are like, oh, watch out for living in Arizona. You'll get bit by rattlesnakes. None of us been bit by rattlesnakes. If they're fearful of their life and in self-defense, they'll lash out if you get close. But usually you hear them, they're scared, and then they'll go the other way.
But a rattlesnake's not out to eat you, though. He's just out there, like you said, to just protect himself. That's why you get bit, because you're stepping a little too close. They don't really understand.
Yeah.
Alligators are hungry.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
looking for dogs and cats and anything else. But, if you're...
Depends on the size of the gator, too.
That is true,
If it's a smaller gator, it's scared of you because you're bigger, then maybe it won't attack you. It might
Right.
run the other way. If it's a big-ass gator and hungry and you look like a snack, you might get snacked up.
Toast.
Yeah. All right. We're back here live on Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're talking about if we were living in Florida, right? Is it similar to like how things are scary out here to
Yes.
outsiders? But, obviously as locals, we're just like, they don't really attack. And
Yeah.
if gators are
safe.
the same way in Florida, but it's neither. It's a discussion. Our streamers go both ways on this as well. Let me get to our top story in the podcast broadcast. It's a salacious story, one that involves threats of not even blackmail, just outing a potential affair. Yeah, there was a golf course who called out a couple's parking lot love affair.
Golf course.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is a scandal at the clubhouse. California golf course took to social media to publicly shame a couple for using its parking lot as their weekly affair meetup spot.
Wow, weekly.
Yeah. Now, again, you don't want to return to the scene of the crime time and time
No,
again, but they're
switch it
like,
up.
But the ambiance, come on.
Right.
It's so romantic.
well, you want to be safe. You want to be in a safe spot. And I get it. Like I said, like over the past couple of years, I've unfortunately been able like hooked up in my car more times than I had in all my life. Right. Because I was dating someone teenager in the house. I had a teenager in the house and it was the only place we could do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, don't come at me. Like we're not trying to be nefarious or degenerates or criminal at all.
Yeah.
No, just people who liked each other, who wanted to get it on. And it was the only place we could do it.
Right.
Understandable.
So it's relatable. But in this scenario, it kind of seems like it's more shady.
Yeah.
Right. Like it is married people that aren't married to each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So in an epic Instagram post, Skylinks Golf in Concord, California described in surgical detail a late 30s married wife in a black car sneaking around with a guy in a silver car every week by the maintenance dumpster. Dumpster pumping.
Yeah.
They politely but firmly told the duo to knock it off. They said, please stop in this post. And then Skylinks didn't stop there. They warned if they do it again, we'll drop the footage and watch all hell break loose.
Nice.
Oh, my.
Yes. In other words, they're saying next time we catch you, World Star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared.
Yes. And I'll keep an eye on World Star if they attempt to do it again. Let's hope they don't follow the golf course on Instagram, right? The post went viral, though, as people applauded the golf course for the savage call out. And apparently the club's family-friendly image doesn't include hosting Jerry Springer moments in the parking lot.
Right.
So the cheaters have been warned to find another rendezvous spot or else risk a very public hole-in-one on camera.
Ah, there it is. I was waiting for that hole-in-one joke. I was like, it's going to be worked in somewhere.
It's
If not,
there.
I'm going to make it. So
It's low-hanging fruit there, Emil. What
It
else
is.
am I supposed to do with this information?
It's good. It was a good joke, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but but it isn't fair because it could be a hole in two. I mean,
hey,
yeah.
you never know.
Either way, do you think this is an actual couple that's dating and aren't cheating, or does this sound like a very salacious cheating scenario, Mari?
salacious cheating scenario for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because if you're going to do it by a dumpster, you're obviously cheating on someone.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's where you belong.
Yeah. Garbage people.
Exactly.
All right. Let's keep this conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We got a whole lot to get to on the FM side as well. So stick around. We got music on the way from Sublime on Rock 102.1. Let me show. I'll share with you this Andrew Duncan Brown real quick. Just a quick clip because you're going to get a kick out of it. And so I emailed this lady back at first where I was like, look, I told her that and she's like, yes. And then I sent her a song because I looked through my emails. I had a couple of the MP3s. The one thing that I always regretted, because he was one of my favorite guests to have on. And, you know, I had in-studio performances all the time. He was one of the best of the best. He was so good that usually I would record on Cool Edit when people were in doing studio, but I did that so I could see the levels to make sure everything was sounding good. He was so good. You just put the mic in the room and it sounded like a fucking $1 million recording.
I love it when that happens.
Yeah. But I didn't record him all those times because I didn't need to record him all those times. And I kind of took it for granted. And I was booking him on things all the times. I got him on some pretty good sold out shows. I was building him up. He was one of my marquee artists. And then he passed away at the age of 27 in a very, very sketchy scenario that I believe involved insurance, and it still never sat right with me. And
Interesting.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I emailed her back. I was like, thank you so much. And for this, here you go. Here's an MP3 of Andrew Duncan Brown. I looked, his music's not on Spotify, but someone did upload his entire album on YouTube. So if you like what you hear just now, then go ahead and check him out on YouTube after the show, of course. Here is I Was So Confused. I'm just going to play about 45 seconds of this for Emil, okay?
Came out in a rage, rain had washed away. It was always my fault, beginner in the fault. And I projected it on you. My mind had become blue, but I'm here today to try another way. 'Cause I was so confused about me and you. It's clearer today now that it's gone away. I made a big step.
I'll forward this to you.
Yeah.
So like I said, Andrew Duncan Brown, I'll send it forward. So yeah, he was 27 years old. So he ended up in that club, unfortunately. He signed to an independent record label by a shady Frenchman named Punky. Punky had a beautiful wife, but, you know, Punky was very aggressive and pitching Andrew. So at first I was hesitant to even listen, right? Because I didn't like his energy, right? It was
the French.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off. It wasn't the French thing, but you know, he kind of seemed like a gangster in a way, right? But I, you know, got to know Andrew, you know, fell in love with the person and the artist, and then so Punky financed this album. Now Punky had aspirations of Andrew being like a big deal, but it didn't necessarily happen right away. I mean, it takes a lot to break an artist on a national scale. An independent radio station is not going to be able to do that, especially overnight. So we was super impatient about that. And then for whatever reason, Punky's like, hey, come to France, Andrew. You know, like, I'm going to take you to France. We're going to go, you know, hang out at the chalets or whatever the fuck, you know, houses are called in France. Andrew passed away from drowning in a pool, 27 years old. Andrew knew how to swim. They did an autopsy. He didn't have alcohol in his system. He didn't have drugs in his system. So he drowned in a pool in the middle of the night in France under zero influence with, you know, people were there at the house. Nobody saw this. And it was just the next day and it just there. So there was speculation. And I know there's people that were very close to Andrew that wanted me to drop it. And I dropped it for the sake out of respect for the family and whatnot, you know, but I was like dead pressed.
Little foul play, maybe?
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. Nothing about it made sense, right? And, you know, when someone tragically passes away unexpectedly, it's not going to make sense in a lot of scenarios. But if someone gets in a car accident, you know, it was a car accident.
Right.
For a 27-year-old man to go swimming in the middle of the night, not under the influence, and drown in a pool that is not like 100 feet deep.
Yeah.
You know, it has steps. It has all these. It is very difficult to drown sober in a swimming pool. I mean, it's easy to drown if you're like in the ocean and the current catches you.
Yeah, it's easy.
So many fucking things, right? So this happened. I speculated that there could have been some kind of insurance payout. I did not like Andrew, or I did not like the official story on that. And like I said, it never sat right with me about Punky. And that's it. That's all I could really say about it too, because you can't you can't allege people committing crimes. But they somewhat investigated in France. It was open and shut for them. It was an American. They didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
It was pretty much kind of like the perfect crime. And that's what happened with Andrew Duncan Brown. And so, when I came back and, I honestly didn't think about Andrew for years, dealing with life and everything else.
Yeah.
That was one of the first emails I got that jarred my memory. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this is why I do this. Like, because people are saying, why are you going back and you doing radio for free? Why are you doing it? My uncle called me. Why are you doing it for free? And, if you're good at something, why do it for free? And it's like, well, I'm not doing it for free because what I'm getting out of it is so invaluable.
Yeah.
And then being able to, now I'm almost a Phoenix music historian and an Arizona music historian with the relationships that I've cultivated over the last 16 years. And so I turned into the old timers I was looking up to. Right. But yeah, so it's that kind of stuff that just like, that's radio. That's real radio, and here it's like, yeah, we're connecting with an audience. We're making people laugh, but I don't control the playlist at all. I have no impact on a musician's life whatsoever on this station.
Yeah. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah. But up there, I could directly impact somebody I believe in. Right. I could definitely help and have before and build awareness and market it properly to get them to that next level. I've done it several times. And obviously it's not easy to do. So I can't do that with everybody.
Right.
Right. But to have the opportunity to be able to do like, hey, this, and of course, talk about fun stuff too. In the process, that's the reason why we do that.
But it is great. I mean, because I totally feel you. I did Test Department, local noise for a very, very long time. I'm also a musician too. So having somebody be able to like
an advocate,
do that. It's like, cause getting into the music industry is extremely hard unless you're going to be like made by the music industry, which there's a lot of those people, but getting something played once or twice on the radio, it really does like liven up and brightens up their life. And that's what makes it worth it right there. Even if they're not going to go anywhere with it, they had that moment to share and to show off with their friends.
That's right. I said Beef Vegans Busker Festival coming soon. Nope.
Busker?
Yeah.
Busker, on 4th Avenue.
Bigger than busking. I used to have Fochella Festival. Used to do Tequila Sunrise. So we'll see what kind of fun little gigs that we can get going on in between Phoenix and Tucson. So it's all part of that process. We're going to build up some stuff. I want to record what's happening this weekend. We're going to have to do it during the next commercial break.
That's fine.
All right. So early this morning, we did a compliment battle. Yeah. And it was epic. It was a backhanded compliment battle. Mari hated it. I mean, what do you think? She loves it when we're so nice to each other. And we were overly nice in a backhanded way. In case you missed it, it went a little something like this. Check it out. All right, Dodging with Artificial and Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. It's crazy how the 80s were. And when we look back in retrospect, we see a time of, irony. Irony is the best way to put it. I came across a bunch of commercials from the 1980s that aired on actual radio stations all over the nation. Some are celebrity endorsements, some are PSAs, some are products. And the verbiage will be quite insensitive for today's times. And that is the warning. All right. Now, this was at the time very acceptable. This is what we grew up with. And this is why you have a blowback generation and be like, why are you guys so sensitive? That's not bad. That's because we were getting beat over the head with this type of verbiage and message. Here's the first one again. We're coming out hot, Emil.
Okay. That's the only way to come out. Okay.
All right. Now, again, since the 1980s, we have come up with plenty of correct like medical terms for mental disabilities.
Right.
But back in the day, they kept it more simple.
Just one.
There was just one, unfortunately. This is an actual PSA that the overall message is uplifting and positive.
Very wholesome.
Yes, but there's a word there that may trigger some. So fair warning, listen to this.
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like the neighbors.
I'm right here.
And come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.
Hey, amen to that.
Yeah. No, I have a couple neighbors myself that fall in that category.
I might be that neighbor.
All right, so that was an actual PSA, again, with a positive message. But again, the verbiage doesn't really fit today's standards. There was also, celebrity endorsements back in the day on the radio that in hindsight, not the best celebrity endorsement.
No.
I'll give you an example.
Oh, please do.
This celebrity was telling kids not to do drugs.
This is Bill Cosby. Now that everybody has told you about the dangers of doing drugs, I'd like to tell you about some of the benefits. Just imagine yourself unconscious, making a visit to a hospital emergency room, weeks in rehabilitation centers, nights in overcrowded prisons, spending more money than you can afford, ruining your health, hurting your parents, losing your loved ones, and most of all, destroying yourself. And remember what I say about doing drugs. I think you can say no.
Bill, no!
No, please no. All right, so of course, celebrity endorsements for PSAs in hindsight can look quite awkward. In fact, sometimes cultural appropriation wasn't something that was really recognized until like the early aughts, late aughts. McDonald's, a major corporation, they were, just trying to sling some McNuggets. And they wanted to do it with some Asian flair. This is something that you can't do today.
No.
Well, at least not like this.
I have come many miles from inscrutable Orient to tell you of Chicken McNugget Shanghai. You get free chopsticks with every 9 or 20-piece pack. Perfect for whole family. Also get 3 different Oriental sauces: satay, black bean, and Shanghai sweet and sour with every pack.
Sweet and sour?
And as Confucius says, it's always a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
He did say that too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Confucius-
know. 2.1 Kiff, man. We're just playing back those crazy 80s commercials that we came across.
That was a different time, huh?
Yes, absolutely. I'll share a couple with you here in a little bit. I just got a DM on my Instagram from a guy named Larry. He doesn't even follow me on Instagram. Who just messaged, "Get a room, cheapskate," about hooking up in cars. But it was, like, hey, a hotel room a couple times a week. You know how much that adds up to?
Right.
Adds up.
Yeah. Plus, I was in my carport. There were safe places to do that. But yeah, he's not even following me on Instagram. He just reached out just to
He's like,
call me a cheapskate.
I gotta
pervert.
find this guy. He's on the internet looking for you just to give you that DM.
Look, I'm sure there's people out there listening that have gotten in on cars as well. Now, if you've been in like a committed marriage for many years, probably not the case, but when you are a single parent, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Still spice it up.
Yeah. Cheapskate for sure. Maybe. I mean, it's not in my budget. It's not in my budget. And I don't have those holiday in points or whatever.
No.
It'd be fantastic.
Larry
if I did.
needs to lighten up and live it up a little bit, okay?
Yeah,
Don't
Larry.
knock it until you try it, Larry.
Yeah, and it's not a crime until you get caught, my friend. So trust me, there were some sketchy moments where I'm just like, "What's that car driving behind me?
Yeah.
Is there a third spotlight? No. Okay, we're good." And made sure there was obviously nobody around, especially it wasn't around any like kids or anything like that. In the car, got 10 windows, whatever.
You're not at like the Wildcats parking lot or
Yeah,
anything.
look, you should be impressed that a man of my stature couldn't even convince a woman without any monetary exchange
Right.
to get it on in a Kia Soul. How you know how impossible it is to be like, "Yeah, baby, let's get it on in a Kia Soul," and someone say, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea."
A romantic.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck trying to pull that off. It is not easy. All right. Let's actually do a couple more 80s commercials while we're at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
See some of these.
we were doing this earlier this morning. There's a couple that I didn't share. Now these didn't time out or like these didn't age well. In fact, this one is sad to begin with because this was a commercial talking up a monumental event, the time that they were going to take an average person, a citizen, a teacher, and bring her up to space. She was going to be an astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole world watched as disaster happened. But before the disaster happened, they talked it up. And this was an actual commercial that was played on the radio. Listen to this.
One,
We have ignition and liftoff.
The winner, the teacher who will be going into space, Krista McAuliffe.
Share the excitement as New England's own Krista McAuliffe gets ready to make her dream come true.
The space lessons are very simple. We came up with a field trip in space.
Teacher in Space, a 1-hour special, Monday night at 8 on WBZ TV4, the station New England turns to.
Unfortunately, that special didn't air, so.
I wonder why.
Yeah. If you remember that. Do you remember that, Mari?
That's sad.
It is sad. All right, so let's cleanse the palate with something that's not sad, just blatantly racist. All right, so this was, again, a real commercial in the 80s, and this aired all the time, and this was a commercial for a toothpaste that they called Darky Toothpaste. All right, this is not satire. This is 100% real commercial from the 1980s. Just to we're trying to point out the fact that times they have changed. Okay, so listen to this.
Smile, Darky, smile for me.
Darky toothpaste gives you a cool, fresh, tingling taste.
Smile, Darky, smile for me.
No.
Darky with fluoride protects your teeth for clean, brighter smiles. Darky toothpaste, so fresh you can feel the difference all day long.
Smile, Darky, smile for me.
Smile, Darky, smile for me.
And this makes it so much better when you actually look up the Darky, like the box.
Yes.
Oh, yikes.
It's actually, I think it's a Japanese brand, which makes a lot more sense with this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Whoa.
Yes.
I can't imagine that flying anywhere close.
Right. And then this, okay, did you look up Your Johnson? Because I don't even know what
It's
this
Darly.
commercial.
I love that. I
It's
know.
not Darky, though. It's Darly.
No, it's Darky.
Look, I got it right here. Darky.
Yeah, it's Darky.
Oh, wait.
No, you guys.
No. See, Darki.
Yeah, no, it's
Wait.
Darky. You're
See,
looking
this
up
one
a
says
different
Darly.
brand. You're looking up.
Darly.
This
Well,
is
I'm
like,
sure they change it.
Oh,
Yeah,
they changed
see,
it.
this one, this
Yeah.
is like the Americanized version, and it's like
Oh.
it's obviously a different caricature on it too. But the OG
Ow.
one, you can buy this on like eBay.
What's the
Oh.
original one?
Like
The original character?
Yeah, no, the original's like the what's his name? The guy that did blackface back in the day.
No.
Yeah. Watch, I'll show you.
That's crazy.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, so that
That's
was
bad.
actual commercials that aired in the 80s. Again, obviously we've come a long way since then. Let's see. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is not good. That is not good.
It's like you could have done anything else with it that has to deal with a smile,
Mm-hmm.
but you went this route.
Yeah, so there's two more. One I'm going to play on the air. One I can't play on the air. I'll play exclusively on the podcast broadcast because it's even with context, it's just like, no. But these
Yeah.
were actual commercials that aired on the radio in the 1980s. This one was called Your Johnson. Let's check it out.
Okay.
You've got your sunrise. You caught a prize. You make me a Johnson. Party nights, summer whites. You, your friends, and your Johnson.
Hey,
Reach the tails, water trails. You, your kids, and your Johnson.
Johnson.
Saturday nights, distant lights. You, your girl, and your Johnson.
That's right. Me, my girl, my Johnson.
That's what it's about,
Wow.
though. That's life right there.
You and your
Ricky.
Johnson, a way of life for over 50 years.
Amen.
Yeah. Seems
like
like a
that
little
one.
longer than that. Yeah, of course you would. Yeah. So, all right. So these are the commercials that we could air on the FM side. What's the one commercial that makes me so nervous to air that I just won't do it on the FM side, but we'll share it on the internet because it's the internet. We'll find out by joining us, youtube.com/beefvegan. More coming up after Godsmack and Corn on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Okay, so this one, I believe, is about cigarettes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good. It's Bird's Eye. Bird's Eye is the name of the cigarette brand, but you know what they call cigarettes in the UK?
F starts
Yeah,
with an F.
it starts with an F.
I was hoping that she was gonna say it. I was just
F.
like, oh,
She's
starts with
smart
an F.
enough. She's
Do
on the
it.
internet. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to do that, and because it lives forever. But yes,
yeah.
and then look at it, Taco. I missed the 80s. All right, so this one is insane. But yeah, let's play it. Let's check out Bird's Eye F's.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I have a message for you from Bird's
Cigarettes.
Eye. Bird's Eye faggots will appeal to your whole family. They've made them with lashings of gravy, but they've gone easy on the spice because kids don't like them too spicy. Bird's Eye even suggests that people who don't like faggots could enjoy these.
That's
so
I
good.
didn't realize
The
they
fact that
use
they're-
that for the plural.
Yeah, and the fact that they actually are like kids don't like the spicy ones. Like they're still marketing to cigarettes for kids. It really was a different time back then, huh?
Oh,
and it's so funny because these are like 80s, but
Not that long.
you would think like if you just played this for somebody, it's like, oh, maybe 50s,
Yeah, it seems like it's from like so
50s
long
or 60s
ago.
or something. No, it's the 80s.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. And Lynn's actually heard that one. So that's good. I don't know what corners of the internet you've been on, but all right. With that said, we did have a backward compliment battle this morning. It was epic. Mari was the judge. And in case you missed it, it went a little something like this. Check it out. So I'm going to give you a round of just the headlines right now. All right. First headline. You're a fan of the movie The Shining, the classic?
Oh,
hold that thought because obviously I got to scrub ahead. Here it is. Here's the backwards compliment battle. Third time's the charm, huh? What's your mom's name, dude?
You can speak to my dad, though.
And then I did. So, yes, if you were listening yesterday during F My Life, got a call from a kid just at the tail end, just said your mom and then hung up. And I'm like, oh, damn you kids, get off my lawn. And then, as you know, usually the policy is if kids try to prank call the show and say your mom, then it's only right for me to attempt to bang kid's mom.
It's fair game.
Yeah. In this scenario, it's like, let me, a whiner, diner, 69er, right? Whatever. And then, of course, the dad had to get involved, and now it's just this awkward Springer scenario. But we'll play back that call a little bit later on. But right now, I got Emil in the studio. Emil and I, we've been good friends for years, about 9 years. Sometimes we give each other kind of like backhanded compliments.
It's fun, though.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? Enough of this passive-aggressive backhanded compliment stuff. Let's make this a competition of who can give the better backhanded compliment going back and forth. So this is a backhanded compliment battle. And Mari, I'm sorry, but I got to put you in between us. You need to be the judge on who is giving the better backhanded compliments at the end of this round. Already? Okay. So, and you've came up with a few, Emil?
Yeah, I got a couple already.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that you're actually prepared today.
Yeah, hey, finally, for once.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'll start off, let's see. You always dress like you're going to a poetry slam in a haunted thrift store. And I like that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's impressive how you rock that haircut with absolutely no hair involved.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's the shape of my head. Did anyone ever tell you look like the lead singer of a band that only plays for other bands? Because I think you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You're very nice, very kind.
Thank you.
You're like a fine wine, round, bold, and somehow always left open overnight.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah. You okay, Mari? No, we're giving each other compliments.
Yes, compliments.
Yeah. Like, like he's tall and skinny. He's a good looking man. In fact, Emil, your metabolism is as fast as your opinions are pretentious. And I like that about you.
Well, thank you. I'll take that one. That's
yeah.
You know what? But I admire how you refuse to let grooming trends influence you in any way possible.
Oh, yeah. Well, nope. Yeah, I'm just I ignore grooming trends altogether. I'm glad you noticed that.
Yeah.
And I respect the way that you've committed to looking like you only drink coffee made by monks. Yes. So,
I do.
Yeah, I think that's cool. But
well, you have the kind of charisma that makes people say, he must be funny.
Yeah, well, I am. And thank you for noticing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I like you because you're so unique. It's hard to believe that there's thousands of you, just thousands of you that are just like you in Portland.
Yeah. They're all my brothers.
Yeah. The whole city of Emils.
You've really leaned into your look there, Beef. And by leaned, I mean fallen directly into that sucker.
Oh, all right. Like a manhole. All right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I like you because you're like if Kale had a personality.
You've mastered the dad bod without any of the parenting.
Oh, hey, I raised a daughter, so look, you don't eat meat, but somehow you have the energy of a guy who yells "rawr."
Well, you're proof that confidence can overpower mirrors.
Oh man, thanks. I appreciate that, Emil.
Yeah.
Oh, because I think you're the kind of guy who would ghost someone and still recommend a good vinyl.
I would too.
Yeah.
Well, you're the kind of guy who makes people believe anyone can do a radio show. Anyone can host a radio show.
And you're absolutely right. I hope I inspire people out there. Be like, if this dummy can do it, so can I. And you're right. You're absolutely right. You can. And Emil, finally, I think you give off strong my dad owns an orchard kind of energy, you know?
Cool.
Yeah. So, and that's what I like about you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. Any other compliments you want to
Yeah,
tell me?
you know what? You bring a youthful energy for a man who looks like he yells at drive-through menus.
All right. Well, there you go. Backhanded compliment battle. I guess the moment of truth is upon us.
my God.
Mari, you have to decide who is the nicer of the person. Who gave the best compliments?
Oh, I'm going by nice?
No, not necessarily. It's backhanded compliment. So who's better in the backhanded
There were
compliment?
some that were really hardcore. There's some that were very creative.
Mhm.
To pick is very hard.
Yeah, did it hurt your feelings that we were doing this?
Yes.
She's just like, I want harmony, guys.
We were complimenting each other, Mari.
Okay. Yours were so creative.
Uh-huh.
Emil's really cut close to the.
Oh, they were oddly accurate. Is that what you're saying? I was creative. He was spot on. That's a backhanded compliment.
No.
Yeah, it seems like it is.
Mari wins the entire round.
Yeah. Rough, dude. Well, what do you guys think? 600 KFMA, 600 5362. Let me know. We got more, including Ghost is being accused ripping off a legendary band. We got to play those songs back to back and see if they are plagiarism or not, to see if Tobias is going to be in the doghouse. That's going to be after music from Alice in Chains on Rock 102.1. All right, we are back here live. This was the mugshot that we did for Morning Moron.
She looked cutie pie.
Yeah, so she is a USPS driver, I should say, Florida ma'am, who was wasted while en route, just delivering the mail. And she said her excuse was, while she was delivering, there was a house party.
Mm-hmm.
She stopped in, took 2 vodka shots, and then went and hit the road. But it's like, a house party in the middle of the day?
Yeah, nothing like that 10 a.m. house party.
Yeah. And of course, it's so wrecked where, you're giving yourself doing U-turns, driving the wrong way and one way, everything else. But yes, obviously adorable, had a good career too. So I just want to show that here. So who do you think won the backhanded compliment battle? Let us know in the comments here as we get going.
It was painful.
Yeah.
For me.
It's fine, Mari. It's okay.
It wasn't painful for Beef or I, but it was painful for Mari.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I enjoy the insults, it humbles me.
Yeah, bring them on. Makes my skin so much thicker.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. It's all thick skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not any fat cells or nothing. It's all muscle and thick skin. As they say. And no. Why is Vladimir trending in Twitter? That's never a good thing.
Oh.
Vladimir, stop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Trump posted, I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done.
It just happened last night.
Yeah, because they had some sort of that truce, a peace.
Easter peace.
The Easter peace.
Ceasefire.
Yeah. Well,
there's always one,
Yeah.
Easter's over though, so I guess.
To
man of his word.
I mean, that's what Putin does. He goes back on his word when it comes to that kind of stuff. Let's talk about more important pressing issues. Is this the clearest UFO photo you ever seen? Yeah, you didn't even see it. Did you see it?
That's from a movie.
Yeah, that is. I know. No, but this is the headline. This is the headline. It said incredibly clear image of UFO snapped by photographer in Mexico has people divided. Okay, so that's as we read down, we're gonna go look see this image in question here. Is it on the TikTok video?
I think it'll be a part of that. Huh?
It's uploading. It'll happen here soon.
It
can be viewed here.
It's takes you to some spam page.
Bam.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, so let's zoom in on this. This is on Instagram, UFO 5537.
It's clear.
Pretty clear.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
Seems primitive though. Does it? It has,
that looks like a very old spaceship.
It does.
Right.
Coming from the Earthling, could barely get into space.
Yeah. So if you're talking about, because maybe we're spoiled and what we expect in unidentified flying objects or what the UAPs were.
Yeah.
But yeah, this does look very primitive. And you're just like, does this look like it can go across like galaxies and stuff? I've seen better stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah.
but they say pretty clear. Now, as far as this is
not
concerned,
AI.
some people are saying that, the photographer of the alleged UFO named Sammy Robles explained to the news site that was covering this that he was in Chiapas for a photo shoot when he was doing a sports complex. When one of the models pointed out the UFO in the sky, the model initially thought it was an airplane, but the object wasn't moving.
Models.
Yeah. So he took a photo of the UFO, continued on with the photo shoot, and then he was just like, oh yeah, click, and then show me your boobs again.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're saying. He's standing by. He swears he doesn't know how to use Photoshop or perform digital editing.
Yeah, if he's a
taking photos of
photographer.
models, like what?
He's a photographer, doesn't know editing
Yeah,
tools at all, like
what?
BS. But also at the same time, like I don't know, it could be real. At this point with AI and stuff, I stopped caring because it's like anything could be possible at this point.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's Emil. We're talking about this picture that is circulating online about the clearest photograph of a UFO to date. That's what the cover says, or the headline of the article that I'm reading it on. But this is a photographer in Mexico who claims he took a picture of this very primitive looking UFO in the sky. It just doesn't. I say it's primitive looking because it looks like something that can be built man-made.
Like a hubcap, a couple of them
It looks
glued
like
together
a
or something.
hubcap. Yeah, it
Two
does look like
hubcaps
two
together.
hubcaps.
Right.
It's like Chevy hubcaps.
Yeah,
or something.
and then he claims that he was on a different photo shoot. The model pointed it out in the sky, thinking it might be an airplane, but it wasn't moving. And so they took the picture, and then and it since then has gone viral. And he swears he doesn't know Photoshop, and that he did not manipulate these images. It does look super clear, but yes, unfortunately, when you look up close, you're like, come on, man. Aliens got to have better designs than hubcaps. I mean, hell, you make your UFO look better than a Tesla truck.
Maybe that's just like a beater.
Cybertruck.
Like as people, we have like beautiful cars. We have like Porsches and Lamborghinis, but then you also see that old like
Beater.
Chevelle from like the 70s rolling
Yeah.
down the road, and it has no muffler, and it just looks
Right.
like trash. And we're still driving those around. So maybe it's like the equivalent. Maybe this is like
You know what?
the Florida alien man.
Yeah, that's
Good
true.
point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Going on road trips and stuff, be like, you should have seen this thing when I was like 3 light years away.
Yeah, we barely made it to Earth. We won't be going back though.
It was like still in the sky though, wasn't it? So maybe it was having some like technical difficulties.
Or you're just scoping out the model shoot in
Yeah.
general. They were just here to check out hot Latina
Look
chicks,
at the babes down there.
which is the number one export of the universe. Experts have been running the pic through AI analysis to detect any digital fakery, while the photographer still insists that he doesn't know any digital fakery, and this was just a picture. And just another example of we can't even believe what we see even when we see things.
Ever since like 2019, I put a cutoff because it's like anything could be possible with AI and digital, like messing with all that stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like if you want to look at a legitimately good UFO image, check out like Billy Meyer. Okay, that guy has a crazy story. Get online. These are from like the 70s, I believe, and they're crystal clear.
Right.
Oh,
really? Well, it's funny that you even mentioned that because I know there's people that can't even recognize an AI image when it's right in front of their face.
Yeah.
Valdez is one of them.
Oh.
Yesterday, Coach Tommy Lloyd of the U of A Wildcats basketball team came in as a guest for Spears and Ali.
Okay.
I wanted to get a picture with Coach Tommy, right? He's a legend. He's a future icon, and he's, obviously a big deal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the timing didn't line up. They had to rush out the door. I did not get that. But Valdez stepped outside the studio, was joking with Rico and saying I was going to make up a backstory like I hang out with Tommy all the time. And Rico is good with AI and Photoshop. And so he came up with this image that I'm offended that that Valdez believed. He thought, that's not it. He thought this was me. I'll show you the picture real quick. All right, so this is the picture
Whoa,
of
That's you.
I need glasses, but even like looking at your face from far away, that does not look like your face.
Like it has like the things that are on your face, beard, teeth, a hat. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
backwards hat.
the proportion
Yeah.
is just not there.
And we kept trying to make it obvious
That's
to
so
him,
funny.
like I was alluding to, like, take a closer look. He's like, yeah, no, cool, good, congratulations, man. It was over his head. over his head. And I'm like, dude, you really think I look like this, dude? And I was like, this is before I gained some weight, I look like 5 inches shorter. I mean, it's a different face altogether. There's gray on the beard. So it's like I'm like dyeing my beard now. I'm like, none of it didn't even matter to him. That was gospel. Like, oh wow, and like he believed it. And then Rico wouldn't even allow me to let the cat out of the bag.
No,
he was having such a good time with Valdez believing it. He just kept like shaking his head, no, like don't say it. And I'm like, but I mean, come on, man.
Like, Beef, I didn't know you had 7 fingers on one hand. I don't know if AI still does that or anything, but. That's kind of obvious.
AI doesn't do that anymore. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously is not me. It's a better looking version of me in an alternative universe.
No.
Pretty accurate for Tommy Lloyd, though.
Yeah, it looks exactly like him.
Yeah, but there's more images of Tommy Lloyd on the internet than me. So that's
you look
what
like Brett Kreischer. That's what it looks
Bert
like.
Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer.
No, dude, because Bert Kreischer's fat and
No, but that's what that photo looks like. A mishmash. If like you and Bert had a baby, that would.
You're
and
saying
grew
this,
up.
this is our
I
AI
look
love
him
child,
up and I can kind of see it now.
No, yeah, that's a combo of you two. So they like took pictures from Bert, I think, and mishmashed them with the few pictures of you.
All right, Tina. She says it does look like the same height, so possibly the same height, but that's only because Tommy Lloyd is probably tall because he's a basketball coach, not because I'm short at all. But yeah, that's well, at least you can recognize it though. That's the point. A lot of people can't recognize AI when they see it, and that's a problem, And hopefully this younger generation are going to be able to spot it with an eagle eye.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because they can recognize even AI songs just because the tone of the vocals right now, you could hear the auto tune.
Right.
And people could pick up on that, but a lot of people can't. I mean, hell, when we were doing AI songs on the radio, a lot of people called in asking about the artist and things like that. So, I think that one of the most important skill sets that we need to develop here in the future, which might be impossible, is to be able to recognize what's real and what's fake.
Well, maybe it's already a part of us, though. I mean, having that feeling of this doesn't settle right with me, touching on that uncanny valley, where you're just like, well, this just doesn't seem completely legitimate. I mean, that picture of you, that didn't look anything like you, to be honest.
You.
But yeah, but there's ways that I see pictures and I'm like, no, that's not human, or that's not real. That's obviously digitally enhanced or
Absolutely.
something. But
that's why we got to get ahead of it, just to let people know to look out for the AI and make sure it's not fake. So if you ever come across a picture of me getting it on in the back of a Kia Soul, that's not me. That's AI. That is AI.
No, you would
That's
never.
100% fake. That's AI.
Would never.
So don't message me on Instagram about it. All right, we got a beef tip coming up right after these words. Keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. Yeah. I am not a Bert Kreischer, but thank you.
No, you're not. But I think that is a very good hybrid of you too.
It's a good looking hybrid. I mean, I don't think it's a bad looking version of me. I think the head's a little big, but
it's really
I got a big
head.
head.
It's the face.
It's just the proportions are a little.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
You try to do that smile.
No, that looks nothing like you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nothing like you in the face, especially seeing it up close.
This guy, AI guy's got to be married though. Probably sells real estate and still thinks he's cool because he wears his hat backwards. Okay, now I'm projecting. Yes. Brett. It's Bert. It's not Brett. So Bert Beef Kreischer is what you're trying to go for there, David. Yes. You keep saying Brett in all your posts. Bert Kreischer's a pretty funny guy. I had him in studio before, and he didn't say I look like him, but he's a bigger guy. Bert Kreischer, his life was the inspiration for the movie Van Wilder.
Oh, really?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he spent 8 years at FSU partying and legendary, and it was covered in a Rolling Stone, a magazine. So he was such a campus legend that Rolling Stone magazine wrote about him. This is before he was doing stand-up comedy and all that. And so then he started doing stand-up comedy. Then Van Wilder got greenlit, and he knew it was about his life based off that article. And so he was thinking about suing them.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't going to get any money out of it.
Yeah, life rights.
Right. And so then his manager at the time gave him what he calls the best advice he's ever given. He's like, do you want to be a guy who sues, or do you want to be a guy who works?
Or dues.
Yeah. So in this scenario, you might have to pick your hill to die on. This might not be the hill that you want to die on if you're looking to pursue this career in Hollywood.
Pretty smart advice.
That's what he said. Best advice he ever got.
Absolutely.
So, you know, he let it slide and then continued to work on his own career. Fast forward, he's like, you know, one of the most popular comedians out there today, but David doesn't know his name. All right. So,
and then he gets to talk about it too. Like later on in life, well, Van Wilder's made after me.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's pretty epic flex.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kidding me? You're like, oh, yeah. Oof. Like, but I mean, obviously, Hollywood. They gotta like
embellish a
do
little
a
bit.
glow up.
Handsome, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Bert Kreischer, who that's when he came up with the whole the machine thing because he went to Russia and that was like a true story. I'm sure Bert Kreischer still like got it on with chicks, but he was no Ryan Reynolds. You know? Yeah.
Wow.
Even being like an 8-year senior. Yeah. So
will it catch up to Bert though?
It already has. You see him lately?
I mean, yeah, he
Big
parties
man.
hard.
Yeah, he parties a little too hard. He does detox from time to time, but yeah, I get a little concerned for
Me too.
Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, he's got kiddos.
Yeah, well, his kids are kind of like adults now, so
Yeah.
he's fine.
They're
Like I said,
kings.
he was great when he came over to the house. He was fantastic.
He
Couldn't have
seems
been
like such
nicer.
a sweet guy.
Yeah. And this was just when he was hosting a Travel Channel show
Oh,
and doing stand-up comedy.
pretty early.
Way early. You know, way before everyone knew his name and stuff. In fact, actually, I didn't know who the hell he was when he came in. But super funny, naturally funny, and energetic, and
Good guy.
yeah, likable. Like a lot of people compare him to me.
Okay. Cool. It's just like, sure thing, man.
Sure thing. Whatever. Yeah. Let's see. Did anyone realize Beef was taller than everyone in Sleep Theory? Yeah, please point that out again, Brian. Appreciate that. Unfortunately, Sleep Theory is super short, though.
Oh,
Rockwood 2.1 Kev, man. Welcome back to Beef Figure Presents. What are you saying, Emil?
Little guys, then, huh?
Well, yeah, that happens with rock stars, right?
Yeah, like Sully from Godsmack.
Yeah,
Very
he's a little
small.
guy too, huh?
Lead
Manlet.
singers in general,
Yeah.
generally super short. You know, it's very odd. Very rare you'll find a great lead singer that's over 6 feet tall.
Right. They have all that energy bottled up into them, too. That length isn't there for them to expand that into that length. It's bottled up and they're ready to go.
And they also have the pain of a short king that helps
Yeah.
inspire them to want to be on
Oh.
stage and shine. Like Josh from Bad Flower. It's another short king, you know, like,
Is it?
oh yeah, the list goes on and on. So David was pointing out that I was taller than everyone in Sleep Theory. And yes, I felt like a giant of a man. They looked up to me, not as a radio presenter, but just as a physical being. And I appreciated that.
Are you of Earth? It's amazing.
It's funny though, because Jen from our promo department, she has no filter on her mouth whatsoever. So she offended Cullum of Sleep Theory. He's the lead singer. Because she just goes straight up and says, "Man, you're a lot shorter than I thought you'd be. You're short."
It's like, I've never been told this before. Whoa.
Yeah, dude. Everyone under the every man under the height of 5'8", they don't want to hear it. They know it. They don't want to hear it.
love her.
Jen is super loud and abrasive, and I had to call her out on it, and we had an intervention of sorts because just the way that she says it, she still doesn't even get it. She's like, "Nah, he had a good time." It's like, he was visibly pissed off.
Yeah,
because she's like, "Man, I expected you to be like a man size, but you're like a baby." Like, what the? Shut up, man.
I love her. She's so unfiltered.
Oh my God, so much so. So Cullum didn't talk to her for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I imagine that.
Is that your beef tip?
Well, yeah. Bonus beef tip: if you see a man, a short king, if you will, under the height of 5'8", and you're not on a first Tinder date, and they told you you're 6'2", then you don't bring up the height at all. They know. They
live with it every day.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm 5'10", so
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to tell people that. But anything under 6 foot is still not good enough. How tall are you?
A little over 6'1", almost 6'2".
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't think you're 6'2". You lying son of a bitch.
Let's do it. Let's measure myself right now. Right now.
Don't want to do it.
I don't think you're 5'10". I don't think you're 5'10", sir.
It's
all right.
What do you think I am?
It's all right to be manlet. Manlets deserve respect to. Okay?
Manlets? All right, well, we got to end the show. Here's your beef tip. Never be friends with anyone over 6 foot. No. If you want to lose weight and fasting is too extreme, try just skipping carbs for 1 day a week. That might be all you need. They say our bodies burn carbs first and are easier to digest, but, switching it up and having one carb-free day kind of breaks the cycle, and 1 day a week even helps. It might even help you burn the weight a little faster. So if you're looking to lose weight, just skip the carbs 1 day a week and see if that will help you out. Of course, the rest of the week, don't pig out, but eat reasonably. But one carb-free day might boost your metabolism. And there's your beef tip. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue to run it back. One last opportunity to win tickets for Pierce the Veil. Till then, Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
When you
5 for 10 and a half, motherfucker. 5 for 10 and a half.
That half is what counts.
You got that right.
An end to all your grief. But if you've been
Look at my
kind of
Manny.
bad,
He's
I will knock out
4
all
foot
your
21 inches.
teeth.
I like that math.